I'm Vinudhi Wahalathanthri, and I'm here with my 8th question set from the DBMS question series. So this video explains how to create a database using the MySQL Workbench or HeidiSQL software and create tables using that customized databases. The graphical method is used to insert data into the tables in the database, and we will also be talking about how to write a search query statement to search data in a database. So let's see what are the questions we have to answer regarding this question set. So our question is, to facilitate the business of Max Mobile, the owner of the mobile phone company uses a computer software which uses the following table to store the data in that computer software. Answer the questions asked in this table. So now this is the database, or these are the tables of this Max Mobile company. So now we have to answer the questions regarding these tables. So first, we have to create the database to answer these questions. So our first instruction given is create a database named mshop to save the data in the mobile phone shop. So now we have to create this database called mshop. So I will be using my HeidiSQL software to create this database. So I will open my HeidiSQL. And now let's begin to create this database. So I will go to my main DB, right click, create new database. So now let's give our database name as mshop, and now let's rename it. So let's see how it's viewed. mshop, okay. So over here it's created, but no tables has been created yet. So let's see what our next one is. Our next instruction given is create a table as customer and product in the database. Follow the instructions below to create it. So now we have to create the customer and the product table. So now let's see how are we going to create it. So according to these column names, the data types and the lengths, we have to create it. So according to our customer table, according to the columns in it, the customer ID will become our primary key. So over here, they have mentioned that. So why will it be our primary key? So to find the customer uniquely, the customer ID will be helpful. So therefore, the primary key will be our customer ID. Our customer ID will become our primary key. So likewise, the product ID will become the primary key in the product table. So I hope you all got the idea of what this primary key is. So we talked about this primary key in my previous videos as well. So now let's begin to create these tables. So our first table is the customer table. So I'll go to my HeidiSQL. So I hope you all now know how to create a table. So we click on our DB, create new table. So I'll give our table name as customer. And now let's begin to add our columns. So our first column name will be the customer ID. So we have to add our customer ID, and the data type is water. And we'll set the length as water 10. Okay, and we'll give our default value as no default value and okay. So now let's add this as our primary key. So I'll add the index as primary. So y'all can see that it has been added over here. So likewise, I will add our other columns as well in this method. So likewise, I have created my columns and saved it. So let's see how it's viewed in our data section. So likewise, our table has been created. So in this method, let's create our product table as well. So again, let's right click on our DB, create new table. And we'll enter our table name as product. And now let's begin to add our columns. So our first column name is our pro ID or the product ID, water 10, and it's our primary key. So let's begin to create it. ID and data type as water. And we'll set the length as 10. And we'll give our default value as no default value. Okay, and we'll add our index as, we'll add it as our primary key using this create new index option. Okay, so in this method, let's create our other columns as well. So likewise, y'all can see that I have created these columns as well, and I have saved it. Let's see how it's viewed in our data section. So now, these two tables has been created likewise. Okay, so let's see what our next instruction is. So let's move on to our third instruction. Add the data graphically to the tables you have created. So now we created the tables and now we have to add the data. So over here y'all can see that above the data has been given. So we have to add this data accordingly to these tables. So first let's begin from our customer table. So we are going to insert this data in the graphical method. So let's see how we are going to add it. Okay, so now let's begin to add this data. So I have come to my data section in our customer table. So using this, insert row option. I will insert a row to our table. Okay, so now y'all can see that a row has been inserted. So now let's begin to add this data. So our first customer ID row is CUS001. So that will be our first customer ID, and the first name is Tilan, and our last name or the customer's last name is Ekanaika, and the gender is male, and we'll give the contact number. So we'll copy it from here, will be more easier. So I'll copy it from here and I'll paste it. Okay, so now we have inserted our first data or data row. So likewise, let's enter our other rows as well. So now y'all can see that I have inserted my data graphically to our customer table. So in this method, let's add our data to our product table as well. So now let's move on to our product table. Okay, so it's empty at the moment. So let's begin to add the data to it. So let's revise again how we added data. So first we'll insert a row. Then let's begin by our product ID. So our first product ID is the PRO 001, and we'll give our brand name as Huawei, and we'll give our model number as Wi-Fi, and we'll give the price as 25,000. So I'll copy it from here. Okay, so I can't add any dots and commas, so therefore we'll just add it like this. Okay, so in this method, let's add our other rows as well. So now y'all can see that I have added the data for our product table as well. So now we have added our data graphically for both of our tables. So now let's see what our next instruction is. Okay, so we completed 3 instructions. So now let's see what our next one is. Find all customers. Okay, so now we are going to use a query to find the all customers. So throughout our previous videos, we talked about our insert query, a update query, and a delete query. So in this video, we'll be writing a select query. So now let's select all the customers. So now let me show you how we are going to write a select query. So I will open a query tab. So if y'all haven't a query tab, y'all can go to this query over here and y'all can select a new query tab. Or y'all can also press Ctrl T to open one. Okay, so now I'm going to show y'all how we are going to select all the customers. Okay, so over here, our first word will become select. So like we typed insert, update, delete. So over here, we are going to write select. So we can also write search, but the most appropriate one is select. So this is a search query, so we are going to type as select. So I'll give a select all. So this star stands for all. So select all from, and we'll give our database name as mshop. So we won't give it inside Gravy Essence. Let's just give it as mshop dot customer. So we are going to select all from mshop.customer. So once we execute this, let's see what happens. Okay, so y'all can see that all the details of all the customers has been loaded. So once we give this select all from mshop.customer, all the data in that table will be loaded. That's why we gave this select all. So our question here is, find all customers. So now y'all can see that all the customers has been loaded. So if we remove this star and give like select first name, then the customer's first name will be loaded. So let's see what happens. Okay, so y'all can see that the customer's first name has come. So likewise, we can give other columns except for this star. So now once we give this select star from mshop.customer, then we can read it as select all from mshop.customer. So once we run it, all the data of all the customers will be loaded. So this will be our select our search query. So that's the answer for our fourth question. So let's see what our next question is. Find the details of all the products. So we are going to use the same format over here. Select all from mshop.product and our semicolon, execute. So now, without giving this semicolon, our query won't execute. So therefore, we should give a semicolon to tell that this query is ended from here. Okay, so now we all can see that all the details of all the products has been loaded once we give this select all from mshop.product. Okay, so that's the answer for our fifth question. Let's see what our next question is. Find the details of the customer whose customer ID is equals to cus003. So let's see what is the query we are going to give for this. So like I said, we can give a select first name, last name like that. So now over here, they are telling us to select the details of the customer whose customer ID is CUS003. So we are going to select the details of this person or this customer who has the ID as CUS003. So I'll give a select all from mshop.customer and we'll give a where condition because we have to filter it. So therefore I'll give a where condition and I'll give customer dot CUSID is equal to, and we should give that specific data inside these quotation marks. Customer ID is equal to CUS003, and let's execute this. Let's see what happens once we execute it. Okay, so now y'all can see that all the details of the customer who has the customer ID as CUS003 has been loaded likewise. So this is how we are going to type a search query. So I hope you understood what I explained. So this is how we are going to write a search query. So that's all for this question set. So today we completed the question set 8. So I hope you understood what I explained. So thank you everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll be back with a new video. So until that, stay tuned. Have a nice day and bye.